Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH and welcome to part 3 of the Air Jordan hunt. Today we have a quick look and unboxing on the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red. So before we get started with the review, I'd just like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Bugitos Burger. So Bugitos Burger was kind enough to send over one of their burgers, and this is actually their main product. It's 60 pesos for every burger. So they sent it over and I'm gonna give it a try. It's actually pretty good. Tapos may mustard pa. Actually solid, no? But of course, I'm not the best person to ask, so I'll just ask the expert of this household. Andre, try mo nga ito. Is it okay? Oy! Hey! My burger! The Air Jordan 5 is definitely one of the more iconic Air Jordan sneakers. However, in my own personal opinion, it is a step down from the Air Jordan 1, 3, 4, and 11. In my opinion, it's right there at the level of the Air Jordan 6, the Air Jordan 12, and the Air Jordan 13. The Air Jordan 5 was used by Michael Jordan during the 1989 to 1990 season, and in this season, he led the league in scoring for the 4th straight year and led the league in steals as well. He also made first team All-NBA as well as first team All-Defense. The Air Jordan 5 doesn't have quite as many colorways as the Air Jordan 1, 3, and 4. However, what it lacks in quantity, it makes up in quality. Some of the most iconic colorways of the Air Jordan 5 include the Grape Air Jordan 5s, the Black Metallic Jordan 5s, and of course, this one, the Fire Red Jordan 5s. This colorway of the Air Jordan 5s was actually the first colorway to ever release, and it does feature those iconic Bulls colors of white, black, and red. Then with that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing. The Air Jordan 5 comes in a predominantly black box with the giant Jumpman logo here on the top. You also have Nike Air branding here on this side, as well as here on the other side. Then on this side, you also have your colorway information as well as your sizing. Then underneath the cover, you do have the inner part being gray with black paint splatter. So now let's take a peek inside the box. I've never really been able to get a pair of Air Jordan 5s because they don't really drop that often. And honestly, I don't really like the other colorways, but these Fire Red colorways are exactly what the name suggests. They are fire. So let's open this lid. The lid on this box is actually pretty big and kind of extra. Then you have this sort of black, it's not really a paper, it's kind of a plastic. And it's such a bright white. It doesn't also help that the light is like bouncing off of it, but here you go. This is the Air Jordan 5 in Fire Red. So now just taking both shoes out of the box. So here you have your right shoe. Then underneath more plastic, here's your left shoe. Whew, these are so nice. Gotta love white sneakers. So there you have it. This is the Air Jordan 5 in the Fire Red colorway. Then just a quick rundown on the tech specs on the Air Jordan 5. For the outsole, you do have this herringbone traction pattern, and in the Fire Red colorway, it is translucent. Then you have a few grooves cut out here on the outsole just to provide a little more flexibility. Then for the cushion, you do have a polyurethane midsole, and then you have a visible air unit here in the heel, and an encapsulated air unit in the forefoot. Polyurethane is a pretty outdated foam midsole, and you're definitely gonna feel it, especially if you play basketball in these. But if you are gonna just wear these casually like most people do, you're gonna be fine. Then for the materials, the Air Jordan 5 is almost entirely made out of leather. However, just like the Air Jordan 4, you do have these mesh panels here on the side as well as on the tongue. Then on top of those mesh panels, both on the side and on the tongue, you do have that rubber netting. Then for fit and sizing, the Air Jordan 5 fits pretty much true to size. I did go with my standard size 10 and it fit me perfectly. The fit here in the forefoot of this iteration of the Air Jordan 5 is a lot better because the materials are softer and the toe box isn't as bulky and as blocky as in previous Air Jordan 5 retros. Then you also have this really puffy tongue as well as this puffy ankle collar, and this would have to be my favorite feature on the Air Jordan 5 because it just feels like such a pillowy hug. Then for the aesthetic details on the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red, on the bottom you do have that translucent outsole, you have Nike written here on the black portion, and then you also have this red Jumpman that you can see through the translucent outsole. And then on the midsole you do have that visible air unit as well as that fighter plane inspired design here in red. Then on the upper you do have that iconic mesh panel with that rubber netting, both here on the lateral side as well as on the medial side and on the tongue. On the tongue, you also have that iconic Air Jordan 5 lace lock. I don't really find this too functional because I find it more of a hassle, but it does look cool and it is a very timeless look. You also have this red Jumpman that's stitched onto the silver tongue. And then behind the tongue, you have the same thing as what I talked about in my Air Jordan 4 video. You do have Air Jordan written here at the back of the tongue. However, with the Air Jordan 5, it's a lot tougher. So I'm not sure if you can see it and it takes a lot of effort. So it's nowhere near as easy as the Air Jordan 4. And of course, this is a very late 80s and 90s thing where they would really like putting the tongues of their shoes down. However, it is really hard to do with the Air Jordan 5s. Then the last detail would be the Nike Air that's stitched at the back because this is, after all, an OG colorway. Then for the overall aesthetic of the shoe, I really like this colorway of the Air Jordan 5 because it is very simple. I mean, you can wear this with anything. It's a predominantly white shoe with a little bit of black and a little bit of red. So this could really match pretty much anything. I also really love the translucent outsole on the Fire Reds. Of course, it will probably yellow in a few years' time, but now while it's still fresh, it looks pretty damn good. It's also just a really timeless look. I mean, it does give that 90s vibe to it, and it's pretty classic. Overall, this is just a classic among classics and it's definitely my favorite Air Jordan 5 colorway. Then the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red retails for $200 or 9,895 pesos. If you want to grab a pair of Fire Reds, luckily there are still some pairs sitting over at certain Nike Park outlets. I think there's still some in Mall of Asia, and I was able to get mine from Nike Park in Trinoma. So thanks to the good people in Nike in Trinoma, because if it wasn't for their store, I wouldn't be able to get one of my personal grails. However, if you can't find a pair in any of the Nike stores near you, I've seen a lot of resellers online trying to sell the shoe, so you're just gonna have to look for the best price. So there you have it, that was my quick look and unboxing on the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red and the end of episode 3 of the Jordan Hunt. Then if you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And then if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for any future videos, please make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Also, leave in the comment section down below what you think will be featured on episode 4 of the Air Jordan Hunt. And with that being said, if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.